Sometimes a friendship does not end with a fight. There is a strange grief in realizing someone who used to know the daily shape of your life now only gets the public version of you. Nothing dramatic happens. One day, you just notice that a close friend has become someone you update politely. You still like them. That may be the part that makes it harder. There is no clean story to tell, no betrayal, no unforgivable sentence, no dramatic exit you can point to and say, that was when it ended. There is only the slow embarrassment of realizing you no longer know how to begin. The person who once knew the unfinished version of your life now hears the newsletter version. You tell them the headline, you leave out the tremor underneath. And because both of you are kind, both of you keep pretending the friendship is still easy. But something has changed. The door is still there, only it no longer opens by itself. Most conversations about losing friends tell you that people grow apart. That is true, but it is too vague to help. It makes the loss sound natural in a way that also makes it untouchable, as if the friendship simply floated away because life does that. But many close friendships do not fade because the people stop caring. They fade because the conditions that kept the friendship alive quietly disappear. Friendship needs proximity. That means ordinary nearness, the casual chance to see each other without needing to make the whole relationship an event. It needs repetition, not one perfect catch-up, but enough repeated contact for the private self to stay current. And it needs a path back into honesty, a way to say something real without feeling as if you have made the moment too heavy. When those conditions vanish, a friendship can become strangely formal. The affection may still be there. The history may still be there. The ease is what goes missing. This video is about that particular grief, not the pain of having no friends at all, but the pain of losing one specific person while both of you are still alive, still decent, and still technically in reach. The angle here is simple. The friendship did not necessarily fail. The conditions failed. And if that is true, the question changes. Instead of asking what is wrong with me or what is wrong with them, we can ask what stopped carrying the friendship. That question is less cruel. It is also more useful. In 2019, Jeffrey Hall at the University of Kansas published research on what it actually takes in time and contact to build a friendship. He studied adults who had recently relocated and students moving through their first year at university, watching what happened to closeness as shared hours accumulated or failed to. The finding that matters is not the arithmetic, it is the mechanism. Closeness is not maintained by fondness alone. It is maintained by repeated access. That is why an old friend can still matter to you and still become distant. If the repeated access disappears, the bond has to survive on memory, intention, and occasional updates. Those are fragile substitutes for ordinary presence. For a while, that can be enough. Then the updates become shorter, the questions become safer, the private details stop arriving because there is no longer enough shared time to receive them. Hall also found that the kind of time matters. Checking in, joking around, and informal shared activity build closeness in a way that obligatory contact does not. Sitting near someone because life requires it is not the same as having enough unguarded time to become known. That distinction explains something important about friendship drift. The friendship may still appear in your life, in messages, in birthday wishes, in warm replies, and still be slowly starving. One survey, cited in the Surgeon General's 2023 advisory, found that nearly half of Americans now report having 3 or fewer close friends. In 1990, that figure was closer to 1 in 4. The friendship drift mechanism is not just a private story. It is happening at scale, in the background, to people who still care about each other and have simply run out of shared minutes. It matters when a weekly walk becomes every few months. It matters when a school gate friendship loses the school gate. It matters when two people still love each other in theory, but the relationship no longer has a place to happen. Research on social networks from 2006 introduced a phrase worth keeping. Core discussion networks are the people you turn to when something important happens. That is a smaller category than friends in general, and it is the category most quietly affected by drift. Friendship drift often means someone moves out of that inner layer without ever officially leaving your life. They remain a friend in name, in memory, and in goodwill. But they are no longer the person who hears the important thing first. The health research earns just one sentence here. and only to give this grief its proper weight. Researchers studying social connection over time have found that the loss of close bonds registers in ways that are not trivial. That may be the sentence some viewers need permission to believe. The grief you feel when a close friendship fades is not oversensitivity. It is a reasonable response to a real loss. Carol sees Denise's name on her phone while she is standing in the hallway with her coat still on. Something has happened that Denise would once have known immediately. Not because it was dramatic, because Denise used to know the daily shape of Carol's life. For 15 years, Denise knew the kitchen table version of Carol, the version that did not have to make the story neat before telling it. She knew the marriage was difficult before Carol had the words for it. She knew which child worried Carol, which holiday hurt, which joke could make Carol breathe again after a hard day. They used to talk while one of them folded laundry. They used to call from the car and say, "I only have 7 minutes," then somehow stay on for 40. Then life changed in ordinary ways. Carol's marriage ended. One child moved out. Denise became the main helper for her mother. There were missed invitations, tired replies, rain checks, and the long season when everyone assumed everyone else understood. The friendship did not break, it became postponed. Postponement has a way of pretending it is temporary long after it has become a pattern. Then postponed became occasional, then occasional became polite. Now Carol can write, "Hope you are well," and mean it. But she cannot quite write, "I miss who we were," because that sounds too large for the small box on the screen. So she sends the headline. Denise replies warmly, "Nothing is wrong." That is the ache. Robert knows another version of this. His friend is Martin, a colleague who became more than a colleague because the same structure kept placing them side by side. Lunch twice a week, airport delays, hard meetings, the same jokes after the same impossible client. But the detail that made it a friendship rather than a working relationship was this. Martin had a habit of texting Robert on the way home from a difficult day. Never a long message, just a single line that named what had actually happened. It was the one place Robert did not have to summarize himself. Then Martin changed roles. Robert worked partly from home, the casual hours disappeared, and with them, the short messages. They still say, "We should get a drink soon," but without the shared container, the friendship has to be manually lifted every time. That is exhausting for a bond that once carried itself. Carol and Robert are not the same person, but the mechanism is the same. The friend did not become false. The conditions that made the friendship feel alive stopped repeating. The practical move is not to ask whether this friendship should instantly become what it was. That question is too heavy. It puts the whole past on one message, one coffee, one reply. The better measure is whether there is enough warmth left to rebuild one condition. Not the whole friendship, one condition chosen carefully and offered gently. If the friendship drifted because the ordinary contact disappeared, then a vague catch-up may not be enough. Something that sounds like, "We should get together soon," asks the friendship to survive on intention. A condition is more concrete than that. It might sound like, "I miss our old Tuesday walks, and I would like to try one again next month if that would feel good to you." Or, "I realized I only hear the headlines from you now, and I miss the real version, so I would like to have a proper phone call this weekend." The wording matters less than the shape. You are not accusing. You are not demanding. You are not pretending nothing changed. You are offering a small, repeated doorway. And small enough to repeat is better than beautiful ones. That is the first shift in thinking. Proximity before significance. One walk, one call, one breakfast that happens again the following month. The nervous system needs evidence that the door opens more than once. That is why a small, repeatable contact can do more than a dramatic heart-to-heart that ends with both people exhausted and the calendar still empty. The second shift follows from the first. Once proximity has a little room to repeat, honesty can start moving again. Research on how closeness actually forms suggests that one truthful exchange reciprocated does more than a dozen pleasant updates. Not an interrogation, not a performance of depth, just one true thing made easier to say. For example, "I have missed you, and I was not sure how to say that without making it strange." That sentence does not force the friendship to return. It gives it a truthful place to stand. It tells the other person that the distance was noticed, that it was not indifference, that there is still something worth naming on your side. There is one important caution before any of this. Some friendships drift because the conditions failed. Some drift because the relationship was no longer kind, mutual, or safe. Re-entry is not the same as self-abandonment. If the friendship repeatedly left you smaller, anxious, used, or ashamed, the work may be grief rather than return. But if what remains is warmth, respect, and a strange unfinished tenderness, it may be worth testing one small condition. Not to recover the exact old friendship, to see whether a new version can breathe. Re-entry is different from reunion. Reunion asks the past to come back whole. Re-entry asks whether two people can build a small new doorway into the present, with less fantasy and more honesty. That distinction matters because the old friendship may not exist in the same form anymore. Carol is not the same Carol, Denise is not the same Denise, Robert is not the same Robert, Martin is not the same Martin. Life has altered them all. The question is not whether they can return to the exact room they once shared. The question is whether they can build another room with what they know now. A friendship can be real and still need new conditions to stay alive. That sentence keeps blame from taking over the story. It lets you grieve what was lost without declaring either person guilty, which is often the only way grief can soften into clarity. It also lets hope become more honest. Hope is not, everything will go back to how it was. Hope is, maybe the door did not vanish. Maybe it only stopped being used. Some friendships cannot be restored, but some are not dead. They are waiting to see whether the conditions that once carried them can be built again. There may be someone you have been thinking about for this whole video. Not a category, not friends in general. One name. You may not know yet whether the friendship can be re-entered. You do not have to decide that today. If this is the kind of question you want to keep thinking about carefully, the connection letter is where we do exactly that. For adults rebuilding their social world after 50 without the usual easy answers. The link is in the description if you would like to join. For now, let the question be smaller than reunion and braver than silence. What is one small condition you could offer to the person whose name came to mind?